So I want to sit down for a few minutes and continue our series on the Marine Corps' leadership traits and leadership principles. Now, we have already gone through all of the leadership traits. These are specific characteristics that you as a leader or a potential leader, you might want to one day start your own guild or maybe pug a raid or whatever the case might be. These are things that every day you should be embodying. These are things that you should be developing, i.e., integrity. You want to be honest. Endurance. You don't want to just give up the first wipe. Dedication. That you are going to do everything in your power to make sure your guild or your group is succeeding, etc. Now we are going through the principles of leadership. These are things that you should be asking yourself every single day with everything that you do. Was I doing this? Was I setting the example? Did I keep everyone informed as quickly as possible, etc., etc.? Today, I want to talk about one that in real life is, at least in my opinion, from a manager standpoint, in a normal 9-to-5 job, is fairly baseline. However, when it comes to a raid, maybe not so much the case. And this is a very simple principle where you are going to give out a task, and when you do, you want to make sure that one, whoever you're giving the task to, they understand what the hell's going on. 2, somebody's watching out for them when they're doing it. And 3, that it actually gets done. And like I said, from a managerial standpoint, this is fairly easy. I give my technicians at work, or my boss calls me over to her desk and says, hey, here's a project that we need to get done. I ask questions. They ask questions of me. I ask for status updates. I check on my guys. She asks for status updates from me. And we get it done. Fairly easy peasy. However, in a raid, it's very easy to forget about these things, to assume. And this is a big problem, is to assume and go, okay, they know what the hell's going on because, we've done it before, or maybe they were in the raid when somebody else did it, whatever the case might be. So, as an example, and I was going through Antorus trying to figure out a really good example of something that you would give out as kind of an extra raid mechanic. It feels, at least in my head going through the list, that maybe in previous expansions, Warlords of Draenor for some reason really stands out, extra things to do during raids. But for Antorus, the one that comes to mind for me is the idea that you as a player or as a group of players may need to stack on your tank during, I can't think of the name of the ability. It is the purple circle where if you don't get people to stack on you, you get feared. And in the case of a tank, this is a very bad situation where your tank is feared, healers are out of range, people are trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So, in this specific case, with this mechanic, my guild has elected to pick certain people with movement-based abilities, i.e. warriors, mages, maybe hunters, maybe demon hunters, to, when called out, to jump on the tank and ensure that he is not going to get feared. Sounds like a pretty common tactic. I would assume you guys are doing it too. Now, here's the deal. If we're going to apply our idea of making sure that the task is understood, what the hell's going on, that it's supervised, that people are watching out to make sure it's getting done, and then at the end of the night, it's actually been done, and you secure that kill, to this example, it would look something like this. We want to, first of all, make sure that the task at hand is understood. That means I go, hey, listen here, mage 1, demon hunter, warrior, whatever the case might be. And I designate maybe in Vent, in Discord, in TeamSpeak. And I go, look, mage, demon hunter, warrior, hunter. You guys are going to, when the tank calls out for it, jump on the tank with this ability. Do you guys understand what's going on? If there are any questions, this is where you give them a chance to go, are we doing it for any other abilities? Is there anything we need to watch out for? Actually, yeah, the boss cleaves, so you don't, you want to make sure that you position yourself accordingly, etc. You want to make sure that the people you are designating with this task understand what the hell is going on. That they're not just going, I don't know what's going on, I'll follow the next guy, and they get themselves cleaved. they go at the wrong time, they go too far, they go too early, too late, etc. Whatever the case might be. And then while you're going through the raid and you're calling things out, and we've talked about this before, guys, where, about calling things out. I'm not a big fan of calling every single mechanic out. Because for me, I do enough talking during these videos for you guys to where, just a constant hours and hours and hours of yapping my mouth. Too much. So maybe when DBM or Bigwigs says, hey, this ability is coming up, you as the raid leader, you as the guild leader, one of the officers or whatever, maybe since you're supervising this and making sure it's getting done, you go, all right, this ability is coming up in 10 seconds, build the tank, make sure you call it out if you need it, and ensure that this is getting done. And then if it's not getting done, because your end goal here is obviously in this instance to secure a kill, if it's not getting done, if it's not getting accomplished, you need to either replace the player or you need to figure out why a player is not able to do something. Do they not understand it? Did they not know what was going on? Is there confusion? Whatever the case might be. And that is basically the principle as a whole, is making sure that when you tell people to do something, whether it's an employee, whether it's a raider, whether it's one of your officers. And here's another big one. A great example I can think of is I task my officers with things. I go, hey, look, I need you to dig into the logs for this guy or talk to that guy, because I'm not going to do it all. I have enough on my plate. I have enough going on in real life. I have enough going on inside of my guild to where sometimes I do need help. And I task my officers and go, hey, you know more about this situation, this healing issue that we may be having, or maybe this DPS issue because you used to play this class. Can you go over the logs and kind of walk me through it? And this is where we're talking about, I give out a task, I make sure my officers understand it. I ask them, hey, did you have a chance to go through the logs? Where the status update, hey, did you talk to that guy about his poor raid mechanics? And then we get it done. I go, okay, cool. He's already talked to him. It's already been handled. You've gone through the logs. We fixed this issue, whatever. Now, if you ensure that the task you're giving out is understood, you're then making sure it's getting done, and you're supervising it during the process, or you're getting status updates, etc., then when you give out an order, there's no confusion. And I use the term order loosely. I mean, again, we're not in the military, at least for me, not anymore. But, when you're asking someone to do something, there's no confusion about, it not getting done. And you coming back a week later and going, hey, this guy is still performing poorly. Did you talk to him? Well, I didn't know I was supposed to talk to him. Those instances that you as a leader find yourself in a situation where someone is confused. Well, then clearly this wasn't done. You didn't ensure that they understood the situation. You didn't ensure that they understood the task that you're giving them. You didn't check on them because it's lasted a day or a week or however long, and it clearly wasn't done. Or tank gets feared. Clearly somebody fucked up on something because they didn't understand what was going on. They didn't know that the ability was coming. Maybe the tank didn't call it out. And it clearly was not accomplished. So if you find yourself in a situation where people are coming back and they're going, I was supposed to do that? Or, oh, crap, I didn't know. If there's any confusion, this will fix it. With that being said, guys, hopefully you like what I'm saying here. If you do, you guys know the deal. If you don't like it, go ahead and hit that thumbs down button. Let me know what you do and don't like in the video. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.